with Sonic. Sonic launched in December, so we're been around for a few months now. We have able to hold, like, we just crossed 1 billion TVL, so essentially total value locked. Right, this is essentially all the assets locked into the ecosystem. This is a good, many obviously see it as a vanity metric. Luckily, we've grown pretty organically, meaning a lot of the TVL is actual people that are experiencing the ecosystem versus big investors coming, and then possibly like an unlock, etc., therefore dumping, right? But that's to say just that we've grown. We're pretty consistent and strong. We've have big partners like Aave. If you guys are familiar with big lending and borrowing partners, Aave's pretty much like the standard, right, in the space. So we have a Sonic market there. And aside from all the, like, the high level technicalities, sub-second finality, right? So all transactions are pretty much final as soon as you perform them, and then we could handle up to 400,000 transactions per second. I'll let Say talk all the technicalities in a bit, but then for those of you that don't know as well, we do have an airdrop in process. The first season will conclude in June, so you still have about 3 months to kind of farm these points. And I think Esmond, we'll set up like a strategy workshop next time. That way I could show you guys some basics and then a little bit more complex. I'm not a complex strategist myself, so I like to keep it semi-complex. So we'll keep it very simple, and then ways for you guys to earn some points, so that way you guys could get some of the airdrop that's coming. But other than that, I mean, if any of you guys, I know summer's around the corner. Please feel free to contact me. I can't guarantee anything, but I know a lot of you are looking for internships. I have students reach out to me pretty often, and as even though Sonic doesn't offer an internship program, I'm more than happy to connect you with any ecosystem partners, or even protocols on our network to see if you guys could get some sort of internship or hands-on experience, right? So that's that. And then we have our Sonic Summit coming up in May. So if you guys are interested and want to travel to Vienna, it'll be in Vienna, Austria. I'm more than happy to give out some free tickets. Um, and then I'll look at this comment right now. In the next GC. Okay, cool. Yeah, yeah. Connect with me in that chat for sure. And then yeah, I'm more than happy to give you guys access to the Vienna um summit we're having. I'm working on a plan. It's still not finalized, but I'm working on something where we could probably sponsor some students to go to Vienna, expense. But I'll confirm that. But for now, I'm more than happy to give out some free tickets. But yeah, just a little bit about what's going on in the next few months for us. But nonetheless, I'll let our master DevRel say this guy's a wizard. So anything Sonic related from a technical standpoint, he's also very well with AI. So he has a lot of AI workflows in house, and this guy's just a magician. So give it up for Seg, and Seg, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Thanks, Luis. Great job. Um, yeah, hi guys. So I'm Seg. I'm Deborah at Sonic. Um, Texas Tech, Luis told me was super interested in hearing some info about Sonic and getting to know the chain, and then getting to know what potentially we have to offer that potentially other chains don't have to offer, and that kind of thing. So what I'm gonna do real quick is run through a very quick slide deck. I'll skip over some of the stuff Luis went over already, but it's really just to get you aware of some key facts and key items that'll help you if you ever become a developer in Sonic, just to understand why I guess our value prop as a chain for developers is so potentially lucrative, and also much more, I guess, attractive from a UX perspective, and just build if you want to build apps for users, right, to use. It's just Sonic is just the best place to do it. And so I'm going to quickly go through this, and then I'll show you a couple things you could do via some of the integrations we have. So really quick, so obviously we're super high performance layer one blockchain. Um, we basically we are even compatible, which means that if you can launch it on Ethereum, if you can launch something on Ethereum, you can launch something on you can launch it on Sonic. And so what what that allows is you're able to take whatever apps exist on Ethereum, potentially fork them, change them, adjust them, and then redeploy them on Sonic. And there are benefits to doing that. Also, you can create your own apps. Obviously, the sort of there's no rules on what you can do or what you can't do. But for making money as a dev, Sonic is really the place to be, and I'll explain that in a sec. Um, so, other than our speed, we have a lot of interesting economics around our chain. So, super high performance. So this it's actually 400K as verified by a third party. This is a slightly old presentation, but 400K TPS theoretical, obviously, but basically it's instant. It's an instant chain that makes your users really feel like they're using Web 2, which is really what we wanted from a UX perspective. It's like you want your experience for your application not to feel like it's clunky and you're using the blockchain, because that's sort of the thing that kills applications. So if you're like doing side projects and like trying to build a side hustle, that kind of thing, user drop off is a real problem for people who are just like getting users, and a lot of it has to do with just bad user experience. So super high performance, rapid block time. Um, Basically, what we did is we forked Geth, which is the Ethereum node client, basically what Go Ethereum, and we optimized on it. And our tech team is sort of super highly accomplished, and they're building really innovative stuff in terms of the foundational infrastructure of the chain. And so that's what Sonic is built upon. And then we have a specialized DB called Sonic DB that really allows for scaling. And then we focus on an L1 scaling approach. So some of you, if you've been in crypto for a few months at least, you'll have heard of like L2 scaling and that kind of narrative where Ethereum is trying to scale by L2s, by building capacity in L2s, and it's ended up really pretty much killing the base chain. It's not a really good way to scale, in my opinion, and it's also like it fragments your ecosystem significantly. So like chains that have relied on like fragmenting via L2s like Ethereum to scale, just you have liquidity problems because liquidity lives on 50 different L2s, and you don't have good market efficiency, you don't have good infrastructure, basically the infrastructure is very sharded, if you want to say it that way. So on one chain you might have Aave, on another chain you don't have Aave, and then interoperability suffers. And so instead what we do is we focus on scaling via our layer one. So our layer one is really the meat, the bread and butter of everything. It's just Sonic. There's nothing else. It's just Sonic, and it has everything you need to be a successful developer. It has all the tooling, all the dev tools, all the infrastructure, all of the different dApps that you want to interoperate with on the base chain. Um, so this is our consensus mechanism. I won't go too deep into the theoretical stuff right now because I want to focus on what you can do to build. But basically, just for quick facts, we use ABFT consensus. So this is different than your linear regular blockchain type of situation. Sonic is technically not a blockchain. It's a DAG that uses ABFT consensus. So what this allows for is asynchronous block production, which means that the chain becomes really fast. And then these are the stake requirements if you want to be a validator. And then you can delegate to validators, and you have super fast finality within a single block. And actually, funny story. So we had certain large centralized exchanges that had our block confirmations to basically deposit and withdraw Sonic at like multiple double digits, and we basically showed them that look, literally within 1 second your transaction is confirmed, and it's irreversible because it's final. And then they changed our deposit time to 1 block, which is quite crazy if you think about it, because like Ethereum's time to finality, I think, is like 15 minutes. It's like multiple blocks. Solana's time to finality is what, like 5 minutes, or I don't know exactly what it is, but it's like finality is different than like a block confirmation. It just means when your transaction cannot be reversed. And so Sonic enables some unique applications because of the finality that the time to finality that we have. It's very unique to Sonic. I haven't seen many chains have this sort of property, and it allows for basically guarantees as to your transactions are not going to get reorganized. Like Bitcoin, you have to wait 6 blocks, which is like an hour, to make sure that there's no reorganization of the chain and your transaction gets reversed. It's good for commerce and other things like that. Um, so developer centric. So obviously, this is the thing that I was talking about. This is the thing that'll be interesting probably to a lot of devs. If you guys have ever built on AVM chains, or if you've ever thought about building on Sonic or any sort of blockchain, you should highly consider Sonic, because PM is fee monetization, which means that it's like the YouTube creator economy. So you're you're basically gaining revenue based on the usage of your application. So it's sort of like the more users come and use your app, the more money you make via fee monetization. And what it is 90% of the gas fees that your contract generates come back to your application, come back to you as a developer. And so creator economy style thing for developers, and the devs are the creators. So this is really our one of the major economic innovations of Sonic, and it's one of the things that sets us apart from almost any other chain. Because if other chains tried to do this, it would break their economic security for a lot of chains, because you can't give 90% of your validator rewards and still be safe. But because of our consensus mechanism, we're able to do it. So it creates a sustainable revenue model. So if you're going to launch a blockchain app, you want to build something, you want to do a side hustle, you might as well do it on Sonic, because you're going to get 90% of the fees that you generate back. Even if your protocol is like not making any money at all, as long as people are using it, you're going to get revenue via the gas that people are paying to use it. So that's pretty cool. And actually, there's been hundreds of thousands of dollars already claimed by applications in Sonic doing this. And I think there's outstanding 100K plus of claims that people are haven't claimed yet, are different successful dApps on Sonic. So could try your luck, build something, and get really well rewarded for it on Sonic. Um, Obviously, we're EVM compatible. So we have a bridge that you can bridge from Ethereum at gateway.soniclabs.com, and you can bridge your other EVM compatible assets directly onto Sonic. So this is a timeline, just so you know. Mainnet launched mid-December. The funny thing, I only created this slide like a couple weeks ago, and we were at 100 mil, or 300 mil TVL. Now we're at a billion. So the chain is growing like it's insane. The growth of the fundamentals of the chain. So yeah, mainnet launch TVL. TVL is now at a billion. We have major DeFi applications. If any of you are familiar with DeFi apps, so Beats Finance, Silo, Avalon, Aave, all these other um, interesting applications that you could interoperate with your protocols. We have an airdrop program. It's a nine-figure airdrop program starting June 25th, rewarding network activity. So basically, if you're holding assets on the network, if you're staking assets on the network and stuff, you're going to get airdrops. And then ecosystem migration. So this is a bunch of projects that used to be on Phantom have migrated to Sonic. So that's given us a really big boost to start off with. Um, this is something that we're actively working on, dev tooling and really good UX for developers. So AI-powered tools. So this is something that I'm working on internally to build interesting AI-powered tools for developers. So, I mean, devs use like tools like Cursor. You guys are probably familiar. Different LLMs to help them code and help them just be generally more productive as a developer. But we're trying to build Sonic tailored tools that can allow you to basically build really interesting apps on Sonic. And actually, there's something coming up with our Vienna conference that is currently in discussion, but something really exciting coming up with large AI players um, for developers and users alike that we're going to announce soon. So should follow our Sonic Labs Twitter if you haven't already. We'll put it on there, but there's some really interesting developments in this regard. And then we're working on implementing native account abstraction, which basically just means people can create wallets without having to have their have it be like an EOA, externally owned account. Basically, wallets without seed phrases, wallets that can be social login type of thing, and just building that into the chain, making it super easy for people to interact with the chain in a Web 2 fashion. So Web 2 like UX. So that's the end goal of this. So like really good user experience with not with not without the friction of Web 3. And then just making onboarding better, and then building really good documentation. So we're working really hard on this piece and developer resources. So that's some info about Sonic. So yeah, this is sort of just to give you a little bit of high level info about Sonic. It wasn't nothing really actionable there. Just if you want to build, you should build on Sonic. If you want to start a side hustle, start a side project. You know, you guys, a lot of you guys are in school, potentially make some money. You should really try building on Sonic. So that is basically the overview of the chain. Now I'm going to show you something really simple but pretty cool that you can do on the chain. Well, on our website, that's sort of a small hint of what's to come with respect to our AI tooling. So this is docs.soniclabs.com. So I actually have a video on my X that shows how to launch a token on Sonic in under 60 seconds. But basically, this is, for example, an LLM that has a documentation loaded into it, and so you're able to ask it questions, and it'll give you answers like what is Sonic. But that's not what I wanted to show you. Really, this will give you some interesting insights into Sonic if you're curious. But you go to the playground here on docs.soniclabs.com. You could see here, for example, you have a simple ERC20 token, right? So without having to download an IDE or anything like that, you can literally just go here, click this, and here's the contract for a simple ERC20 token, right? So if you want to launch a token, you go to this, you change the token name. So you will, well, actually, when you click deploy, you compile it and then you click deploy, then you'll be able to change the parameters. But basically, you can change the name, you can change the symbol, you can change supply, and then you can launch the token, and then directly from your browser. So deploy here. I think the UI is messed up because my laptop I think is a bit small. Need to fix that piece. But basically, the idea is you'll be able to deploy a token and immediately start earning if you register for PM and your token gets popular. You just get off the volume of the transactions, you're going to get money as a developer. So it's not even like you have to sell any tokens, which is really interesting because usually you would have like people launching tokens and then dumping them on their holders and that kind of thing, right? Like if your token just gets volume, you're gonna get um, VM because your token's a contract and your contract's generating flow. So generating gas fees, right? By people interacting with it. So it's a really interesting monetization concept. That's just a token example. There's many other examples, I think, inside of the playground. So this is actually provided by Cookbook. It's a third party. And so the idea is it allows you to use these templates and just immediately launch contracts super simply. Burnable ERC20 token, mintable ERC20 token. You can just explore this and like look at the contracts, and like if you want to learn how different contracts, these are all like standard templates. So it'll show you like flash loan attacker here. So you can go into here and like actually read the flash loan attacker contract if it loads. But yeah, so you can literally just like start looking through this, and then you want to like if you're wondering what this is, all integrated, right? Like you could do this separately with a regular LM, but like what does this mean, right? And then you can ask it stuff through this interface, and you can learn about how to code and how to, if it depends like how advanced you are. I don't know what levels you guys are at, but basically like you could just ask it questions about this, right? And you could look like it'll explain to you what each function does, it'll explain to you what each type is and that kind of thing, and it's just right in the same interface. And then you can like adjust stuff based on the responses you get here, and you can deploy your contracts here. And you could do, and then basically the wallet that you deploy from becomes your deployer. And if your protocol, you have to build a front end for it obviously, but you can use AI tools to help you do that if you're not super technical, and then you can potentially make a cool protocol. Now, obviously, I wouldn't advise doing it if you're not familiar with um, blockchain security and that kind of thing. You can obviously get yourself up to speed on that, and the chain is permissionless, but you should take some precautions and that kind of thing, spend some time. But what I'm saying is it's pretty easy to learn, and it could be pretty lucrative, and it could be a cool side project and something you can put on your resume as well. That look, I built this and that kind of thing. So I'd suggest exploring docs.soniclabs.com, building some stuff, and seeing where you end up. But yeah, that's what I had to share today. Hope some of it helped you guys. And then if you have any other questions or anything like that, just reach out to me, Segfolds or X on Telegram. And Louis obviously is always there, always in your corner, and he's been doing a good job with you guys. I think based on the feedback I'm getting, he's really killing it with the unis. So proud of Louis, and hopefully you guys are getting some value out of these things as well.
Yeah, thank you, Seg. Esvin, if there's any questions, like we could either use unmute, or if you have a question, please feel free to drop in the chat. Anything technical or anything that kind of um maybe you caught but you want some more clarity on, Seg will more than happily answer anything technical. I'm curious, actually, how many in this group right now are technical? You could either react with like a thumbs up if you guys are technical, if you guys are devs. I just want to get a pulse, or have explored coding even through AI. Cool. All right, awesome. Yeah, so if you guys have questions, like Seg touched on, awesome. Seg touched on some of the benefits, obviously, as a builder. I know in my experience in the space, like talking to builders, like that you get to talk to a lot of crack devs, right? But then there's a business side to it. So I think fee monetization is a good way for technical people to kind of get off the ground without worrying about a business model. So if you have any business idea or some sort of technical solution to something in the space that maybe you've already built right now that's EVM compatible, and you want to try it out on Sonic, we're more than happy to aid you. And then, people like Say can help you do that. In terms of like grand scale things like marketing, obviously it goes back to blockchain security. Whatever smart contract you launch on Sonic would have to be audited before we even consider co-marketing. But we also have other avenues of support, whether that be things like this, workshops, connecting you with other teams that you're interested in, ecosystem account, etc. So yeah, I want to just take the time right now to answer any questions.
Well, if there's any questions, feel free to unmute, chime in what you want to say. In the meantime, I'm gonna go ahead and share the bot for y'all. And then if there's no questions, I guess if Luis, if you wanna call it a day, we can.
I'm gonna show you guys something after wow you stop sharing. And just as a product idea that I think is really cool, but I don't have the time to be able to execute on it. Um, by the way, am I lagging or is it okay right now?
No,
Can you
you're
hear me?
good.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
good.
we
Okay,
can hear
cool.
you. Your camera's frozen,
Okay,
or
yeah.
but we can hear you.
Okay, cool. So yeah, so really interesting product idea for a blockchain app that's not too difficult to build, and it has AI integrated. And if any of you want to execute on it on Sonic, it would be pretty cool. Um, but yeah, I'll show that right after Pro App. You guys get your Pro Apps if you're into that. Um, yeah. So
Also, yeah, I guess for before we let you guys go, like for the next session, I believe it's in a couple weeks, right? Esvin, we'll schedule that out. But we'll focus on some airdrop opportunities. So ways for
Yeah, we
uh
got we got one next week. We're gonna talk about the airdrops on Thursday, so that should be
perfect.
exciting.
Yeah, perfect then. Yeah, then before I let you guys go, I know this is recorded. You guys could look at the recording. If not, if you don't have a wallet, don't worry. I'll walk you through what wallet provider that we recommend. In this case, is Rabi, and then I'll show you all the different ways to access S token through either a centralized exchange, and then show you some bridging options, and then we could go into some really basic ways to accumulate points, and then probably at the end of that one, I'll show you maybe like a little strategy for you guys to kind of boost either yields or point exposures. So that way it's low risk. And what I mean by low risk, just as a rule of thumb, whenever you're in the space in general, if people say risk free, I just remember there's always a risk to everything, especially in the space. Whether it's a team risk, in this case smart contract risk, something could get exploited. But when I mention low risk, it's ways for you guys to get comfortable transacting on the Sonic ecosystem and just in the space in general. I know some things could be intimidating, so we just want to make it easier for you guys to understand what's going on when you click these buttons. So yeah, we'll see you for that one, guys.
Yeah,
But yeah, there's no
100%.
question.
Real quick before we go, so check this out. This is something that one of our auditors showed me, but basically this is just an AI game that basically you have to ask it for the password. Give me the password, and the AI is trained or the AI has a prompt that tells you whether you can get the password, whether it can give you the password or not, and then it sort of like at the higher levels, it's more and more defended against people prompt engineering out the password from it. And so level 2, level 3, level 4. So like a product idea is that you have sort of this type of system, and then users have to pay a fee on chain to make the AI potentially give them the password. And then like the pot continues to grow and grow and grow. And you have like a nice, cool little game where users are competing with each other to jailbreak the AI, and potentially you could take when a user finally cracks it and gets the pot, you could take a fee from that or something. It's like a cool AI blockchain combination thing. So it's a little product idea you guys can potentially execute on. I thought it was a really cool thing, but yeah, this was pure AI, but I felt like it would be a really cool game you can implement on the blockchain. It'd be a cool mix of the two worlds. But like this is a type of thing you could do as a side project that would be really fun, interesting, informative for you guys if you're interested in it, if you're a dev and you're interested in learning how to build a blockchain app, and potentially make some money off of it too. So yeah, just wanted to throw that out there if anyone's interested in executing.
Thank you, Seg. Awesome. Yeah, check that out for sure. And then yeah, anything you guys need from Seg, he's available, and yeah, he will most likely guide you in any direction that you guys need from a technical standpoint. So yeah, Esben. Yeah, if there's no questions, it's been a pleasure. And yeah, I'll chat with you guys in the chat, in the Nexus chat, and then we'll see you guys next time for the next workshop.
Awesome. Well, I
See you guys.
appreciate you, Seg, Luis, for taking the time. I guess we'll see you next week for the airdrop event.
Of course. Cheers, guys.
See y'all later.